I'm gonna start off by saying this is the first time I've used Reddit, let alone making a post, so if I'm not doing this right, I apologize. I was dating my girlfriend for about 8 months. We both work in the same grocery store and I had a crush on her for months. I finally woke up the courage to ask her up and to my surprise she said yes. Fast forward to when our new store manager started working here. For a couple months I thought he was a good guy, serious, but knew how to keep things light-hearted. But one day, when I was off work and was off at 2 p.m., she came over to my place like she often would, and out of nowhere she tells me that our manager said to her, "You know, you could do a lot better than him." To say I was upset by this comment would be an understatement. She even tried to downplay it by saying he didn't mean it like that. How else would he mean it? Like this. Me and my new ex-girlfriend were together for like.
Eventually, he decided that he no longer wanted to be with her, and she was so upset about it. I tried my best to keep her grounded, but it was a lot for her to go through as they had dated for a year and a half before that point. About a week after they broke up, I started talking to her and brought up that I liked her and said that, "I know that it isn't the right time to tell you, but I really like you." She disagreed with me and told me that she liked me too, and we got together. It was a great couple of months. We celebrated Christmas together. We went on an amazing date for Valentine's, but all it took was one day to destroy it all. The morning of August 1st, 2023, I woke up as any normal day and did normal day things. The day before, I had agreed to meet her, but unfortunately my car had broken, so public transport was my only option. The time difference was an hour and a half, so instead of meeting her at midday, I agreed to meet her at 2 o'clock. She agreed that that sounded good, and that she had something she needed to do that morning anyway. If only I knew what that thing was. While I was getting ready to leave, she had left the house to meet up with her ex-boyfriend, due to how long it would be taking me to get there. Little did I know that they had been talking to each other and meeting up frequently for the best part of 3 months, and I had no idea. After she had seen her ex, I had shown up at the house and we had had something to eat and went upstairs to her room. Sat on her bed watching Peaky Blinders on the Xbox with a bowl of popcorn was a vibe. At about 5:30, she received a message on her Xbox from her ex saying, "Just got home, thanks for today. I love you, XX." I had no words, I didn't know what to say. I had my arm around her as I read that message, sat in her bed 2 hours away from home. I froze for a bit and then moved away from her. I persistently asked to see the messages on her phone that they had been having, and she eventually showed me them. I decided that the best idea was to leave her house and go home, as I couldn't stand to look at her. This was a crazy situation. I read through Reddit stories in disbelief sometimes and tell myself it can't be real, but then it happens to you and you realize that the world isn't as good as it should be. When I was 13, I found out that my mom was having an affair with a friend's father because I found a bag of naked pictures of him in a closet. I had no fucking idea what to do. I was scared to tell my dad because he made all the money, and what if he left? I was scared to tell my mom because what if she left with her lover and our whole family broke apart? So I kept the secret to myself and felt angry, scared, and guilty most of the time. My dad found out all on his own about a year later. Then the fight started, the yelling, the storming out, moving to a new house to get away from him. I used to lie in bed at night and wish that my parents would divorce already. And then suddenly, it all stopped. My parents were holding hands and agreeing about everything, which felt good for a while, except that dad never let mom finish a sentence and constantly made fun of her, and mom would cry to me that she and dad could never really talk, and the only hugs she got were from her children. All I really wanted was for my parents to be happy, so I tried talking with them about why they were unhappy, about what they could do differently. I guess I wanted to be the marriage counselor that they never had. Usually they told me that everything was fine, that I should not worry about them, so I would try not to, until dad wanted me to talk with mom about how depressed she was, or mom wanted to have special alone time with me, without dad, so we could talk. I felt like if I said no, they would drown, so I kept doing what they asked me to, trying to help both of them. This went on for what, 10 years? Maybe longer. In the meantime, I got married and eventually got pregnant. That was my wake-up call. How was I going to have the energy to raise a child while I was still trying to raise my parents? I suddenly knew that I couldn't keep supporting my parents the way they wanted me to and have my own life. As hard as it was to find out about the affair, working through its aftermath with my parents and extended family as an adult was harder. There was no roadmap. While I forgave my mom for cheating long ago, I have come to realize that the affair was the symptom, not the cause. The cause, the relational patterns between my parents and within our family, were much harder to cope with, and, if I am being honest, forgive. I wanted to post this because I know there are a lot of people who have cheating parents, and it doesn't get talked about a lot outside of do I tell anyone? But I think there is a lot more to it. Can anyone else relate? Can anyone